Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'm thinking of the irony here. The irony of we're going to talk about the role that AI plays in creative and next generation marketing. And I am reminded by the fact that we are very much in a physical, real wind gale here, which is kind of fun. I am Laura Desmond. I am CEO of Smartly. Smartly is an advertising technology company that uses AI to make advertising more memorable, more personal, more relevant for consumers and brands. I am joined by Sofia Hernandez, who is the Chief Business Marketing and Partnerships Officer at TikTok. And we're excited to have this conversation today. Sophia, if you're okay, I'm going to kick it off with a little bit of a scene set, and then we'll just jump into it.
Yes, please. And for those of you in the audience, we're just going to roll with this, okay? Hair in the face, all of it. If you
We're
can't hear us, let us know. If a plant falls, who cares? We're just going to go with it.
We're going with it. Absolutely. So, look, I think very quickly all of us realize and see with our own behaviors that AI has become far more than a curiosity and an experiment, both at home and in work, to a present reality. We're using AI to get new information, to help us extend our own creativity, to make things more accessible, and to speed our work. And I think very quickly we're going to start to see AI will help us scale growth and extend our creativity even more. We believe at Smartly that AI is going to form the new foundation and a new era of advertising. We're used to a lot of personal and relevant advertising that enhances our experience. But AI is going to explode content, explode creativity, and it's going to make more personal, relevant messages possible in a prompt first and increasingly visual or image based world. And we're excited about that opportunity. It will extend all of our creativity and our ability to be strategic in what we do. So, Sophia, it's just great to have you here. You are at the center of most of this with TikTok. Having TikTok and the way it burst onto the scene several years ago, really showing what was possible with AI.
Yeah, thanks. And what Laura said around the fact that we are here, this is a core turning point for our industry and AI. If you're a marketer, if you're a brand, if you're a business, and you haven't leaned into it, you have to today. I saw an interesting stat the other morning from eMarketer that said 67% of marketers worldwide are using AI for one thing or another, whether it's to enable their brands, whether it's to enable their daily kind of activities. I was shocked that we're already at 67% because honestly, from where I sit, it feels like the industry is behind. So, Laura, by the way, we're just going to have a conversation up here. Laura and I have our paths have crossed for the last 2 decades in one way or another. So it kind of feels full circle that we're sitting up here talking about the next evolution of the business, which is AI. I'd love to just hear your thoughts on, what do brands really need to get serious about quickly?
No, that's great. Look, I think we are at a disruptive time that is more powerful than anything we've seen over the last 20 years. More powerful than the dawn of the internet era, more powerful than Google and Meta coming onto the scene and helping us connect differently and search for information differently, more powerful than the mobile era, which changed how we communicate and changed how we connect and how we shop and buy. AI converges everything together, and it will change human behavior because it will make it possible for people to get information, create, and move faster than ever before. And it will change how brands have to communicate with people, just like all those other disruptions changed advertising before. So I think the first thing that brands need to do is they need to stop thinking about this as experimentation and dive in. I think the second thing they need to do is respect that AI is changing the way people interact with creative, with media, what they watch. And that new experience level will need to be in the advertising that they lean into and engage with. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity for creativity in the advertising and marketing world. Brands can simply create more content, they can make it more relevant, they can make it more real time, and the algorithms, such as the TikTok platform and others, will help marketers and learn in real time in an always on fashion. And that's exciting for us at Smartly to play a role in connecting people and the brands they need, and brands and the people that help grow their business.
Yeah, I think there are two key ways. So I partner with brands all over the world and really help them lean into the next evolution of marketing. And I see two key ways that they're starting to do that. The first one is creativity. How can you use AI not to replace ideation, because people are at the core of that, but to help you take those ideas and scale them faster in a more cost efficient way? And really, like when you think about global brands, AI is helping them globalize assets in within minutes, right? Something that they used to take months, even with a significant level of accuracy. So, creativity. The second way is just general automation. When you think about the work that's being done on the performance side of marketing and advertising, or even the top of funnel, so many tools are available today that allow brands to push a button and just execute in a much smarter way. It's taking a lot of the busy work off of your hands and it's helping you be more efficient. And by the way, this is in an environment where every CMO or every marketer is under pressure from their CEO and their CFO to deliver stronger ROI, to do things faster with less people. And I see AI as a core enabler to all of that.
Yeah, for sure. So TikTok got the ball rolling on this, Sophia, um, more than 5 years ago, because the way people leaned into creative and to content accelerated the content and the creative that you as a user would see. That was how the algorithms worked. I remember clients like Uber, like Nike, like Warner Brothers saying to us at the time, hey, we don't need just 10x creative, we need 100x creative. But I think we're now also in an era where media and creative coming together is how brands and marketers need to work and to think about that convergence with AI. What's your take on it? What are you seeing?
Again, I think it's funny that we're having this conversation because when you and I met, you were running a media agency and I was running a creative agency, and we were having the same conversation. Uh, who in the audience has TikTok downloaded? Okay, so mostly everyone. Great. I'm glad we're at a tech conference and mostly everyone raised their hand. Who has ever made a TikTok? Okay. Do you think, if you think making a TikTok is easy, raise your hand. All right. If you think making a TikTok is hard, raise your hand. All right. So we're about 50-50 split. I would say that's how most marketers and brands feel. Some people that have leaned into it early know how easy it is to create on this platform. TikTok 6 years ago put out a tool that allowed every single person in this world to express their creativity. And as brands got more involved, I was shocked when I saw research that said 71% of TikTok users actually want to see brands advertise on the platform. This isn't a world where we're all trying to shut off ads and skip past things. And they want brands on the platform if they can show up like one of them, like one of us. So if you're going to show up as a brand and you're going to entertain me and you're going to put out something creative or you're going to help me discover or learn something, then I want you on this platform. That's not always easy for brands. And that's where I feel like AI, automation, creative tooling, That's all here to help brands really seamlessly get involved in this conversation that's happening every day by TikTok users.
Yeah, I mean, I think, going back to what you said about every CEO, every board of every company is asking their CMO, what are you doing? Smartly conducted global research at the end of the summer, 77% of executives are saying that AI will change the enterprise significantly over the next 3 years. And the number one area they expect that change to occur fastest is marketing. And when you think about it, it's because marketing is where consumers and commerce, how you shop, how you get information, how you buy, and creative all come together. And when you think about that and you think about AI powering it, another stat that jumped out to me was on trust and authenticity. Most consumers today, I think it's over 70% according to our research, think they know when AI is being used in the ad or being used in the content.
Yep.
And trust is at the core of what TikTok does, authentic content. How do you guys ensure that? What are some of the things that you think about as you're thinking about brands, thinking about your users in an authentic way?
Yeah, I think, well, one, we've done a lot of research on what people care about when it comes to AI, and they care about transparency, they care about accountability, they care about fairness, they care about privacy. That's a huge one. And most importantly, they and we care about safety. I think that's what's top of everyone's mind, whether you're a brand or whether you're a parent. I have a 13-year-old, or will be a 13-year-old next month, already acting like a 16-year-old. And I'm very concerned about what her behavior is and what she's being fed by not only creators and users, but brands. And so that's core to what we do. You can go online and see our policies very transparently at tiktokforbusiness.com. Um, it's core to everything we do. And we start with that in mind versus think about it as an afterthought. Just going back to brands and something you said earlier, Laura, I get so frustrated when I hear brands or marketers talk about top of funnel versus lower funnel, because what we're seeing on TikTok is the whole concept of how people buy and discover has completely transformed, right? How many of you have gone on TikTok or Instagram and bought something with no intent to buy in the first place, right? Yes, exactly. And so this old school way that we've been taught to like think about a path to purchase, or think about, like someone's exposed to your brand from an awareness standpoint and then they move down the funnel to buy, that is completely just debunked. So your company is really at the core of this. I'd love to understand your point of view and perspective on newer technologies and how kind of like top of funnel and bottom of funnel, so like performance marketing and awareness, are coming together.
Yeah, I mean, the last 20 years have, in the world of marketing, the last 20 years have been about silos.
Yeah.
Brand advertising was different than performance advertising, or the brand function was to drive awareness and the performance function was to drive growth. The reality is people just wanted to experience brands, and the consumer journey is not a straight line, upper funnel down to the mid to the lower. They expect to see different creative. They expect to be targeted differently as they go from discovery to intent and consideration to, oh, wow, I need that. I'm going to click. Or, oh, wow, I didn't know I needed that. I'm going to click because I want that. And we've all had that experience. I think the modern next generation shift in marketing is recognizing that that funnel has collapsed. It's real time. And what people respond to is not smart targeting or over targeting. What people respond to is not, I belong in an audience and that audience is special. Look at me. What people respond to is engaging creative, that's personal, that's relevant, that speaks to them at that moment in time when they're looking for something new, or they're looking to actually get a product or a service because they need it, or they didn't know they needed it, but they wanted it. And that is what marketing is. I think AI and a new approach to convergence around what people need and what they want to experience is going to unleash a renaissance. And that renaissance, I think, will be in creativity. And for the first time now in our history of marketing, we have tools and technology that can make more creative, more content, more possible, more affordably. And that is why we really believe that AI is a tool and extends human creativity. The calculator didn't kill the accountant, and AI is not going to kill advertising or creative or creativity. It's a tool to extend it, and I feel passionate about that.
Yeah. If I had two calls to action, just based on what Laura said to the industry, it would be one, just start experimenting with the tools. Like, stop thinking about it or overthinking it and just move. Things are happening so fast. And I'll give you one example, one TikTok related example. Literally overnight, we started to realize that people were coming to TikTok to search. They were no longer going to Google, which has been like the dominant kind of search engine. They were coming to TikToks to search for things like, where should I take my next family vacation? Or what's a good restaurant for my team outing? Because what they get back was not a black and white kind of text response. It was an actual experience, and it was engaging and entertaining. And it really allowed me to see what the vibe is going to be like the night I take my team out. And so when we realized that, because we're on the pulse of what's happening in the community on the platform, we quickly turned around a tool that would allow brands to be a part of those conversations and be a part of that new behavior. And that's the same thing that brands and marketers need to do. Like, the minute they hear the community talking about your brand, or something that's really relevant to something you're about to promote, how can you get into that conversation authentically and in real time? We've been talking about real time marketing for a long time, but have never really activated on it. So that's one, just start acting. I think the second thing would be, start using AI specifically as a tool. It is not a replacement for people or creativity in the marketing space. It is a tool. So slowly just start incorporating it into your day to day.
I often find that marketers of technology companies can be big inspirers of marketers at brands who don't live the tech every day. So when you have other CMOs who are advertising on TikTok come to you and say, I know I need to do this, but I just see the risks, what do you tell them?
Yeah. Well, first, I help them understand all of our trust and safety methodologies so they feel a little more informed. But I tell them this. I say, and I say this often, we're very good at being students of culture, right? We pay Kantar, et cetera, millions and millions of dollars to tell us what are the people we want to buy our products, to tell us what they're thinking, what they're doing, how they're buying, et cetera. But very rarely do we actually insert ourselves in culture to experience that. And like, when I asked you who has TikTok on their phone, sometimes when I'm in a room of executive level marketers, that the very few hands go up. And that blows my mind, because how can you possibly know the benefits of TikTok or any other new technology or platform if you're not actually in it experiencing it? And so again, like, my answer is, get in there and actually get your hands dirty, practice it, use it, listen to the conversations. The CMO of Elf Cosmetics, Corey Marchesotto, she has tasked herself since 2019. She was one of the early adopters to TikTok, to read no less than 2,000 comments a day. And for those of you that are in whatever platform, like, sometimes the comments are the most entertaining, like more entertaining than the actual content, right? Like, sometimes I watch something, I go immediately to comments because I know that's where I'm going to get a good laugh. Why aren't we all doing that? Like, why aren't we all going in, listening, and participating in the conversation? The second thing I say is, get out of like the paid and organic mindset yes, there's a time for paid, but there's also a time for you to just be experimenting on the platform and taking chances. And you don't have to put a lot of production dollars behind it. So it's really just like get your hands in there. I heard this once from someone who said, as executives, we're supposed to be nose in, but fingers out. I actually think now you have to be fingers in as an executive.
I want to build on a couple of those themes. I think first off, when I'm asked by, our marketers, our CMOs, what do we have to do? The first thing I always say is, if you don't move very quickly from experimenting to making it real, to using it now, you're going to risk relevance with your consumers. You're going to risk relevance with your customers. And when you risk relevance, you risk growth, because the best, most vibrant brands are the brands that move at the speed of culture. And increasingly, the speed of culture is the speed of content and creativity that they're consuming. So that's like the big kind of strategic imperative. Grow and use and enable, or else. The second thing is, and this is sort of the efficiency to the growth play that we've both been talking about. It's really clear how AI can help with productivity. It'll change workflows, it'll collapse process, it'll reduce steps. It's clear. We see that today with our own use, big and small. But if you start to shift it, you also see that AI will help you power more growth, because you will take every dollar you saved in efficiency, and instead of using it to invest in more inefficiency, you can use that dollar you save with AI, and you can use it above the line with consumers to generate more return on that investment in marketing, in great creative, in great ad buys. And the other thing is, you can use those dollars to advertise more in more markets. One of our clients challenged us, use your AI platform to go from 50 markets to 80 markets without us having to add more non-working media dollars, more production. And we were able to do that. We were able to scale 250 campaigns in 30 previously uninvested in markets. And they were thrilled. And that was the stuff that does go to the board. And so it's not just an efficiency play or an extension of human capital play. It is a growth play. It is stone cold about brand growth, because you can reinvest those dollars in different ways.
Yeah. And I'll give another concrete example. I don't know if anyone's got their fingers dirty in any kind of like text to video technology, or if still image to video technology. But if you don't know, if you haven't done it, what you can literally take a picture of these glasses on the table and then type in, I want to see a woman's hand pick up the glasses, put them on her face. She should have curly brown hair and look like she's in her early 20s, I'll say. And you can do that now. And like, you've just saved on a video shoot and only spent on a photo shoot. Like, that is the level of sophistication that we're in now. And it's moving very fast, and it's only getting better. So again, I would just say to everyone in this audience, lean into the technology, challenge yourself and your teams to innovate daily, to just try things, get in there, experiment. Laura, do you have any kind of top two you want to leave the crowd
No,
with?
I'm absolutely a believer in lean in, risk at your own peril, try, fail, and fail fast. And then when you figure out what works, scale the heck out of it. The last thing I would say is, all of us as leaders of teams, leaders of functions, we have to set aside time every week to personally invest in education,
Yes.
in training, in learning, in development. Everybody's people team is going to have to change in order to get new learnings and new programs in our hands so that we can use AI as a new competency. And that means we're just going to all have to set aside time instead of just assuming we know. We're going to have to really invest time to learn.
I agree. Take ownership. Stop waiting for your company's like talent and leadership team to build a module for you to take. Like, take it into your own hands. It's all very intuitive. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
This was really fun.
Thanks, everyone.